Oh, hey friends. This is Pastor Danny Rex coming to you live, reporting from my neck of the woods, my mission field, my neighborhood. I just wanted to do a quick little bonus video this week. Maybe a little extra encouragement as we're doing this Bless series, talking about our neighbors, talking about blessing those around us, where we live, where we work, where we play, where we go, the sports and things that we do. And I wanted to read to you from this book called Bless, you'll never guess, 5 Everyday Ways to Love Your Neighbor and Change the World by Dave Ferguson and John Ferguson, his brother. And I wanted to read to you just a couple quick stories as an encouragement, like this is something that can actually be done. This is something that we can do as a part of our daily life, not as adding anything extra necessarily to our schedule for hours and hours and hours, but just something that we can do on a daily basis. Daily blessing the people that we're with, daily blessing our neighbors. So what do you think? Let me read to you those stories. I'll cut to the chase. And hopefully this won't be too long. Here we go. Praying for an empty house. The house next door to Brooke and Justin was like a revolving door of new neighbors. Over a 5-year span, a stream of people rented the house, then just as quickly would disappear and move out. With each new neighbor came the excitement of getting to know them, but that was quickly followed by the letdown of a quick departure. Then a couple moved in and stayed. Brooke and Justin began to pray for them and look for an opportunity to connect. Hey, but this new couple wasn't interested. They would come home from work and drive into the garage. They wouldn't be seen again until the next morning when the garage door opened and they drove away. An occasional, "How are you?" followed by, "I'm fine," was as far as the relationship ever got. Then that couple moved. Brooke and Justin were frustrated, but they prayed, "God, you know this house is vacant again. Please give us some neighbors we can love and do life with." Do you pray that prayer? Another young couple, Lauren and Quentin, moved in. Brooke and Justin went next door and welcomed them to the neighborhood, intentionally using the practices of Bless. The next week, they invited their new neighbors over for a cookout. Hey, great idea. That meal included a long conversation about jobs, favorite sports teams, and restaurant recommendations. It was a great time. When Brooke found out their new friends had not yet bought a lawnmower, she encouraged, quote unquote, Justin to mow the yard when he mowed their own. He continued to do so every single week without being asked. It was hard for their new neighbors not to notice that their grass was magically shorter every weekend. Finally, Lauren asked Brooke, "Tell me, why are you so different? Why do you seem to always go out of your way to help us out?" Brooke began to share of her story about Jesus. Not much later, Lauren came over and said, "I wanted to update you on something." "Yeah, what's that?" said Brooke. "Quentin and I decided..." Let's see if I can do this. We could have a blooper reel where I fall off this hammock here. "Quentin and I decided to stop renting and buy our house. I wanted you to know the biggest reason we bought it was because of the neighbors. Thanks." Several weeks later, Quentin crossed the lawn and told Justin, "I just got news that my uncle died suddenly. I'm having some really deep questions about God and what happens after you die. I know you have faith. Could we talk?" The two of them sat down in the front yard for a couple hours, and Justin led Quentin to Christ right there. The following Sunday, he baptized them with Brooke and Lauren in church along with them. Brooke would tell them, "It all started with us praying for that empty house, asking God to give us neighbors we could love." Now they are some of our very best friends. So that's just a little inspiration. Story number 1. How have you been praying for your neighbors? Have you been looking? Have you been writing their names down and looking to the people around you to see who actually lives here and what are some ways that I could be a blessing to them in their lives? Do you want to go for a swing? I'll give you a push over the fence into the neighbor's trampoline. Woohoo! Yeah. 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 Now I want to share with you one last quick story, if I may. Sit down on our picnic table here. Barbecue in the driveway. Okay. Rudy and Amber are a couple at our church who, like many of us, didn't know their neighbors. So they started praying for them and listening to them. Theirs is an extremely diverse neighborhood full of people from different cultures and different life stages. Some are brand new too, others have been around for years. Rudy and Amber decided that food might be something that could bring this group together, so every Tuesday they pulled out their barbecue grill in front of the house and invited everyone over for a meal. Hopefully you can hear me over the wind. For the first 4 weeks, one family showed up. It is getting a little windy. Yeah! Anti-M. Maybe I can get down here under the fence a little bit. For the first 4 weeks, only one family showed up, or no one at all, except Rudy and Amber. Yeah, then after a month of prayer and consistent grilling, I like that, consistent grilling, they had a breakthrough, and soon the whole neighborhood was eating. Then something else happened. The conversation shifted from the weather to deeper topics. People began to discuss relational and financial struggles. They were becoming friends. They even started serving one another. Rudy and Amber were blessing their neighborhood. Recently, they told me, we know it's only a matter of time till one of them says yes to Jesus. I love what author Henry Nouwen wrote about the power of eating together. He said, when we invite friends for a meal, we do much more than offer them food for their bodies. We offer friendship, fellowship, good conversation, intimacy, and closeness. When we say, help yourself, take some more, don't be shy, have another glass, we offer them, our guests, not only our food and drink, but also ourselves. A spiritual bond grows, and we become food and drink for one another. Isn't that interesting? So that's a little excerpt, couple stories from the book called Bless. You can read it if you want to borrow it. It's what we've been studying on Sundays. And I just wonder, who could you invite to a chair in your home, to a chair around your campfire or grill or table at a restaurant? Can you think of a person's name? We've been doing this for 3 weeks now. Is there somebody in your neighborhood who you haven't talked with much before, but you've knocked on the door, introduced yourselves, or had more conversations in the yard or on the sidewalk? Invite somebody into your house. I know that's scary, but we can do this to bless them as God's calling us to build a relationship with them and ultimately do what we're going to talk about the next few weeks. Serve them and share our story of how Jesus has changed us too. Who could you invite this week? Who will you? Get their mind, get their picture in your mind, get their face in your brain, and ask them. It's scary, but step up, step out, and just ask. The worst they can say is no, right? That's your encouragement this week on this Wednesday. Love y'all. I'm praying for you. Pray for your neighbors. Listen to them and eat together. It's something we can all do. We're all called to do to bless the people around us. Thanks. What you beautiful. That's all.